What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you've all been well. So we are 1 week out now from the 2024-25 NBA season starting. I can't wait. I'm sure you can't either. Today I wanted to actually talk about handcuff players. So we all know that there's a ton of players that have great potential but are also very injury prone. So players like Embiid, Anthony Davis, Ja Morant, things like that, or players like that I should say. And we always want to know who is best to replace them when they go down with that inevitable injury. So today I'm going to be talking about the best handcuff players and also other players to monitor if a particular player is to get injured as well based off last season's performances. So we're going to start off with the top handcuffs. So let's start off with Joel Embiid. We all know that he's very injury prone. We hope that he doesn't get injured, but unfortunately it seems like the case nearly every single season. So pretty easy one, Andre Drummond. I think if you have Joel Embiid, you have to basically roster Andre Drummond. And honestly, as a reserve, he's not even that bad. His per minute production is insane, even as a reserve at like 10-15 minutes per game. But as a starter last season in 10 games for the Bulls, he averaged 14 points, 18 rebounds, which is insane. Just over a steal and 1.8 blocks a game as well. So that is crazy. And I think that if you have Embiid, you have to have Drummond on your roster, whether you like it or not. Yabusele is also another guy I like. I just think with the Nick Nurse system, they may tend to go small. And Andre Drummond, in my opinion, is probably not even locked to get like that 30-35 minutes per game if Embiid is down. So we'll see what happens. He's probably going to get at least 25 to 30 minutes. But I wouldn't be surprised if Nurse went a lot smaller because he does tend to go small and fast units on his squads. Next player is CP3. He hasn't played more than 70 games in ages, and he rarely gets over 60 at this point in his career. He's like 39, but I think Trey Jones and Devin Vassell are really good players to have if you want to handcuff with CP3. And Stephen Castle as well with his preseason performance could be someone to have as well. But I think Trey Jones is probably the best to have. Last year as a starter, he averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, 7 assists, and just over a steal a game with low turnovers and high percentages on both free throw and field goal, which is amazing. Unfortunately, I don't think he's going to replicate that this year just because there's so many more ball handlers there, and also Wemby will probably ball handle a little bit more than he did last season as well. But I think Trey Jones is a great handcuff for CP3, and then if not, Devin Vassell is also good as well. Karl Anthony Towns, he's been relatively healthy the last few seasons, but he's still, in my opinion, he's on track to probably miss at least 15 to 20 plus games a season. And I think Precious Achiuwa is your main backup that you have to handcuff with him if you have him until Mitchell Robinson is back. So last year as a starter, he was averaging 12.5 points, 9.5 boards, a bit over a steal and nearly 2 blocks a game. And he was getting around 35-36 minutes per game under Thibs. So I think with Thibs and the way he works, he's going to run Cat playing 38-40 minutes most nights unless it's blowouts, and he's going to run Cat eventually into the ground at some point. So Precious Achiuwa, I think you sort of have to stop if you have Cat. I personally would, but again, depends when you build for categories. Mark Williams, another guy with great potential, but always seems to get injured in his 2 seasons, so he's got pretty much chronic back issues at this point. I think you have to get Nick Richards if you have Mark Williams, and Nick Richards last year as a starter, 10 points, 8.5 boards, a little over a block a game. I think it's pretty modest, and a guy that even as a reserve, he's probably going to get you 6 points, 5 rebounds, and close to a block a game as well. So I think you probably have to roster him if you have Mark Williams on your roster. Porzingis and Al Horford, they pretty much rest all backs-to-backs, and Porzingis is out till I think December, like Christmas time or January. It might even be like late January. I can't remember now at this point. But I think you got to go. They're going to be a committee replacement, so you got to go either Cornette or Tillman, in my opinion. I like Cornette, to be honest. If you're going to roster one of them, I think in 20 minutes per game last season, he averaged around 8 points, 5 boards, and 1.4 blocks. He also has good free throws and very low turnovers. So a very good player, in my opinion, to have that doesn't hurt you anyway and helps you a little bit if you need to replace your big man. Tillman and Quaid are the other guys. Tillman, I mean, he's good as for stocks guy, but he just hasn't seemed to blow up too much in Boston. And Quaid has crazy per 36 stats. He's had a lot of, even last season, he only played 20 minutes, like a handful of games, maybe 4 or 5, but he got nearly double-doubles or a double-double in all those games. So he has some crazy per 36 value. I would say definitely keep him on your radar if you have Porzingis. But I like Cornette. But again, I wouldn't say that they're must handcuffs like, for example, Drummond versus Embiid. I think these guys are nice to have if you have Porzingis or Al Horford. LaMelo Ball, unfortunately, great, crazy potential, but just can't seem to ever stay on the court healthy. If he goes down, last year, Micic took up most of the minutes, getting 11 points, 6 boards, and 1 steal as a starter. Decent, it's supposed to have decent percentages there. Trey Mann, I don't know why. He didn't really get much of a run last year once LaMelo Ball, towards the end of the last season. I'm not sure why. I guess Borrega liked Mičic a lot more. But Trey Mann has been balling. There's actually a double N on his name there, Trey Mann. But he's been balling in the preseason, and he looks, I mean, he's not going to keep up those percentages. He's shooting like 50+% in all his games so far. So I think that's not sustainable. But I think you're looking at least 12 points, 5 boards, 5 assists, a lot of steals, 1.7 last year as a starter and 1.43. So I think he's got crazy value for category leagues. And even as a reserve, I think it's worth rostering him as your 12th man, because I think he's going to slot into that 6-man role this year. He's just looking really good, and I think he's up for a contract extension as well. So definitely keep Trey Mann on your monitor. If I was holding LaMelo Ball, I probably would even hold Trey Mann at this point. Brandon Ingram, another guy that's either going to get traded this season. In my opinion, he should, with DeJounte Murray getting traded to the Pelicans. I think he's pretty much on his way out. And when he gets injured, which he generally does, Trey Murphy is your man to pick up. The problem is that Trey Murphy is also injured at the moment, but I think he should be back by late November. And last year as a starter, Trey Mann, or not as a starter, sorry, when Ingram went out, Trey Mann was averaging 16.7 boards, just under 3 assists, and 3.1 threes, which isn't crazy. And he also gets a steal a game as well that's not listed there. So that is great value, but just keep in mind that DeJounte Murray is going to probably impact some of that value when Trey Murphy starts for Brandon Ingram. And we all know DeJounte Murray generally just have a lot of usage as well. So just keep that in mind, that I think that Trey Murphy is a great player to handcuff with Ingram, but I think his value this year is a little bit limited by DeJounte being traded to them. Anthony Davis, oh man, he had a crazy season last season. I think he played close to 70 games, and he's only played 60+ games, I think twice in the last 6 seasons, so it's pretty rare. Now I think he's 31 this year. So Jackson Hayes is a S missing from his name there. He did really well in 5 games at 80 last year. He averaged 11.7 rebounds, 2 steals and 1 block. So he's a great stock guy with a decent amount of rebounds. That was only 5 games, small sample size. I did look at his previous year as well. He didn't do as well when he got the starter minutes. I think he was like 11 points, 6 rebounds, but he definitely seems to be really good in stocks. He's very consistent with getting a lot of stocks when he gets minutes as well. So definitely keep him on your roster. Not on your roster, but someone to monitor. I don't think he's going to get any value as a reserve, so you pretty much have to jump on him as soon as AD is out, as soon as you know he's out, if that happens, obviously. Some other guys as well. These guys aren't as injury prone, but still somewhat injury prone in my opinion. Jakob Poeltl, Kelly Olynyk is great last year without Jakob Poeltl. He averaged 14 points, a little over 6 boards, 5 assists, a little over a steal a game, and nearly a 3 a game. So that was in 19 games, and that is great value for a center. Gives you awesome category value there. Fred VanVleet, Eamon Thompson was his replacement last year. He did really well, averaging 13 points, 12 rebounds, which is insane at the guard spot. 5 assists, 1.6 steals, wow, and 1 block a game. So I think that is probably translatable this year as well when FE is out, but I think it's Reed Shepherd will probably step into that role a little bit more. But I think Eamon Thompson, I mean, Udoka's made it clear that he's pretty much positionless, and I think if anyone in the starting 5 goes up, Eamon Thompson's going to be a man. So in my opinion, Eamon Thompson is a must roster. I think he's valuable just for the fact that he's going to replace pretty much anyone at any position on that team as well. Daniel Gafford, he generally spends at least 15-20 games out of season, and Derek Lively last year when he was a starter without Gafford before the trade, he was averaging 9 points, 8 boards, and 1.4 blocks a game. So in my opinion, both of those are great handcuffs, and Rudy Gobert, you got to handcuff him with Nasri because he's his exact replacement. Does more in my opinion, but yeah, he averaged 17.7 rebounds and nearly 3 threes a game without Rudy Gobert last year. That was in 14 games, so that was insane value at that spot, because getting that many threes at a center position is, man, that is rare. So I would grab him if you've got Rudy, and I would try and trade him just because his potential for beasting out is pretty high in categories. And points as well. Good percentages too, by the way. Clint Capella, another guy that tends to get injured. Okongwu always does great without him. Last year without Capella, Okongwu averaged just over 16 points a game, 8 rebounds, nearly 2 blocks a game, and great free throw percentage as well, and nearly a steal a game and a 3 a game as well. So that is very good value category-wise. Wemby. Okay, so he missed, I think, 10 games last year, it says here, so that's what Zach Collins replaced him with, and Zach Collins averaged 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1 steal, 1 block, and nearly 1.5 threes a game. So that is crazy value again for a center. These centers are really rare in my opinion. We all know position scarcity is a thing, and centers this year are really hard to come by. So if you have Wemby, I think you've got to hold Collins. I think even as a reserve, as your last on your 13th man, Collins is probably good for at least maybe 7-8 points a game, 4 rebounds, maybe an assist, close to a steal and a block and a 3. So I think he's still decent value, but yeah, ready to jump on Zach Collins as soon as Wemby if he gets injured or starts resting back-to-backs and things like that. Halliburton as well, he's been relatively injury free, but last year that injury was concerning to me. He came back and just was not the same. And I think that it's worth rostering Nemhard or McConnell if you have Haliburton. And you can see there, both of those guys get nearly sort of 12 points, 6 assists, 7 assists a game, and over a steal whenever Haliburton is out. So definitely a player to remember if you've got Haliburton, or again, roster if you have Haliburton now and you're expecting an injury. There's some other guys to monitor. So these guys are guys that to monitor, but I couldn't really give you a specific name that are going to be great to handcuff because it's probably going to be replaced by committee. So Ja Morant, he tends to get injured a lot, but again, his usage is going to be soaked up by Bane, Marcus Smart, and Pippen Jr., and probably Vince Williams Jr. when he's back as well. So it's hard to say which person's going to get the most. I would go in that order: Bane, Smart, and Pippen Jr. at this stage. Damian Lillard as well. I think Trent Jr., Giannis, Middleton are probably the most to suck up his usage, but DeLon Wright will also get a lot of the minutes in my opinion, and he's mainly a steals guy and very low-end assists. So again, depending on what you want, I would target some of those players. DeAndre Ayton, he generally tends to miss at least 15 games a season. And Donovan Cleveland, he's a rookie, so I don't know what he's going to average, but he's looked pretty good in preseason. I could see a double-double, close to a double-double if he gets starter minutes if Ayton was to be out. Mike Conley, he generally tends to miss a couple of games. He's very old now at this stage, but he's I think when he goes out, you're going to get DiVincenzo get even more usage. Probably Randall as well, and Edwards, and I think Dillingham is going to be their main sixth man off the bench, and I think he's going to be someone to look into later on in the season once he gets some legs under him. LBJ, man, he's been beaten Father Time so long. So far, we'll see what happens this season. It's hard to count him out at this point, but I think when he goes down, if he goes down, Austin Reeves and D'Lo will be the guys to get the benefit as well. So if you have LBJ, I would say get one of the other two. I think you're going to pretty much have their value maximized that way. Draymond Green, another guy that tends to miss games nowadays from suspensions. He seems to be getting in all sorts of trouble, but even when he goes down with injuries, I think Kyle Anderson and TJD, Trace Jackson-Davis are going to be the men to get. Kyle Anderson will play that point forward role, but TJD will just start at center, and he's good for a double-double with some blocks, with some stocks as well. So great player to have, I think, if you have Draymond Green, especially when you get both of them so late in the draft, I guess, depending on whether you're a 12 to 16 man league. Steph Curry, when he goes down, because he tends to, this stage of his career, Podsy and Melton are going to be your men to pick up, in my opinion. Maybe Hill, but I think those two are going to soak up a lot of the ball handling. And Donovan Mitchell, he tends to go down lately over the last few seasons. And Karis LeVert, as you can see, they gets about 15 points a game, 6 assists with nearly 2 threes whenever Mitchell is out, which is great value. And the last guy, this is well known. If you get Cade Cunningham, I think you have to get Jaden Ivey at this stage. I should have put earlier on in the video, because in my opinion that's a must-have handcuff. They both have very similar skill sets for category as well, because they both are high turnover, not great field goal, and also get a lot of points in threes and field goal and assists. Well, not so much Jaden Ivey assists as much as Cade, but I think they're very similar players as well. So it's not like one is going to destroy your build and the other is a complete different if you hold him. But yeah, if you get Cade, in my opinion, you have to hold Jaden Ivey, and for some reason they just don't work as well together. But whenever Cade is out, Jaden just goes ballistic, like 20 plus points a game. So I think you've got to get them together, in my opinion. But that is my list for today. There's definitely going to be more people as the season goes on, so look forward for more videos going forward. And there's probably some guys that missed out as well, so let me know in the comments if you think I missed out on anyone. Otherwise, best of luck for this season. I hope these handcuffs helped you, and I'll be doing more videos as we go along in the season. And just remember, this fantasy channel is focused on producing videos that are roughly around 10 minutes or less, around that stage, so you can intake as much content as in a small amount of time, because we are all busy people. So hopefully I provided some perspectives that helped you this video. Otherwise, I will see you in the next one, and best of luck with the week 1 next week, guys. Take care. Bye.